So I was dressed up as Mario, and I'm running down, and this color run race they're doing, right? And anyway, so you're coming at the end, and there's this guy, and they call him the color corn. He's a unicorn who's like all in color and everything like that, and he was giving everyone high fives. So I thought to myself, perfect opportunity. This fella deserves a hug. He needs a little bit of love. Color corns need love too, right?
Yeah, of course.
So I start going in for a hug, and I'm like, give some love to Mario as I'm coming towards him. I think I scared the crap out of the guy because he starts going like this. No. I pick him up and I bear hug the crap out of that dude. Start shaking him either way. Got a lot of dirty looks. Looks.
Beating
So anyway,
up the color corn.
Exactly. How we going, eh? This is the EhCast. A couple of Canadian boys from the East Coast talking about the important things in life. We got Kevin.
Yes.
And I think I'm Nathan.
Yep.
Cool.
Correct.
Cool.
Can
So.
confirm.
Confirmed. Let's get a little bit of housekeeping out of the way here. What have you been doing? What have you been playing?
I have been playing Stardew Valley for the most part. Yeah, if you like Harvest Moon, you like Stardew Valley.
Yeah.
It's just how it is.
I think that's going to be part of our main topic of the show.
Yeah.
It's going to be very exciting. You know what I started last night?
What's that?
I finally started Dragon's Dogma.
Oh, yeah?
And, I mean, maybe it's an older game, but that is the clunkiest tutorial I've ever played in my life. Oh my goodness gracious. It's like, okay, move. Now do this. Now do that. And it's just messages in your face every 3 seconds. Mega Man. Like, oh my God. Let me play your game. Please, just let me play the game. The one element that seems really cool that I got into, like literally I just started with my character. Like, I think I've just started the game, just got past like the title sequence. I'm like 25 minutes in maybe. And there's a cool part where you can like climb on enemies, kind of like Shadow of the Colossus style.
Oh, that's cool.
And then start slashing them. But like, it's really, either your character moves really slowly or it's just really janky. I couldn't quite tell what was going on because there was so much movement going on. I was like, am I not moving or am I just moving very slowly? So yeah. I couldn't tell if I was really making progress in that front, but that's what I'm. So you've been playing anything else?
You said you played 25 minutes of Dragon's Dogma. I played about 25 minutes of Tomb Raider.
Ooh, what'd you think?
It's part of the remake.
Yeah, the first remake.
Reboot. Yeah. Yeah, it's pretty smooth. Like, it feels good. It looks really good. I feel like so far the storytelling was pretty good. Yeah. I'm not sure if I'm hooked.
I'm surprised when you said you wanted to play it because, like, I don't think of that as your type of game.
Yeah.
Like, you're like, yeah, the Uncharted games just don't look appealing to me at all. I'm like, then why are you playing Tomb Raider, Kev?
Because it was like $6.
Fair enough, I guess. But
Canadian bucks, too. So.
Canadian bucks. Those are the good bucks. The Broncos.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, man. I haven't been playing much else, though. As far as what I've been doing, a lot of cycling. And you hit a milestone the other day.
Yeah, 50K.
50K in one day. It was good stuff. You looked like you were gonna die, but you made it.
Gonna die at the end. Yeah, I didn't feel too bad afterwards.
Yeah.
Like, days after. I mean, the hours after, I was totally out of energy and everything. But yeah.
Yeah.
It was good, and we'll try and go further. I have a few tweaks I need to make to my bike to make that kind of more feasible in the future.
It's a bike for ants, Kev. It's a bike for ants.
Yeah,
it's tiny.
Unfortunately, it's a bike for my teenage years.
Yeah.
I've grown since then, so need to sort something out.
You're just not willing to admit the fact that you actually stole it from a child.
Yes,
I
stole it from a kid.
That's like 2 weeks ago. He's like, "Hey kid, give me your bike. Hop my van." That's pretty much exactly what went down. Cool. So, what do you got to talk about today now?
Talk about today. I feel like it's mostly like negative controversy stuff.
Ooh,
what's been going on?
The controversies.
Internet. Yeah. I think I'll start off with swatting. Because
like swatting flies?
No, like
swatting away the dog when it's like trying to lick your balls?
No, calling a SWAT team to somebody's home.
That's a dick move.
That is a dick move.
And it's all too popular on the internet, actually.
Yeah, it's one of the main reasons people avoid having their personal details put on the internet, because that's
what happens.
Forefront threat that you'll face if your details are out there.
Yeah, so if anyone's unaware of how this works, basically what they do is they get your address and they say that there's someone in your house that's going crazy with weapons or explosives or there's a hostage situation, something like that. And then obviously your local police or whatever, they're going to be like, wow, this is a very serious situation. We have to get some tactical units in here, a SWAT team of some sort. And those people are going in there thinking it's a situation like this. Like, this is what they deal with every day. So, like, they're like, okay, someone's in there. He may kill someone. You know, this is what's going on. It could just be you with your family, but they don't know that. And in some cases, I believe it's resulted in a couple deaths.
Yeah, because, like, say somebody's going to, like, is breaking into your home and you're an American, so you own a gun in your house.
Yeah.
Someone's breaking into your home, you grab your gun. If it turns out that's a police officer on the other end,
yeah,
the police officer's going to shoot you first, probably.
Exactly, because he's been told that you're in there and you're about to kill someone.
Yeah.
May not be the case
someone
at
with
all.
a weapon? Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. So it's terrible.
Yeah.
But so what's bringing this up?
So this has happened recently, actually multiple times, to one YouTuber in particular.
One YouTuber?
Yeah.
He just keeps getting swatted? That would suck.
Plane.
Aeroplane.
Yeah, so I think he's started some controversy and stuff on his own, so he's got his own number of people who don't like him, but his details did get released.
Oh, good.
By a guy who I very unprofessionally forget the name of right now.
Keemstar,
right. Yeah.
Yeah, what a cat. Like what a cat.
Yeah. So Keemstar, found his information, released it out, and kind of insinuated that he have swatting happen to him.
Yeah.
And yeah, sure enough, this guy's been targeted multiple times. Like, he has a daughter and stuff. Like,
oh man, that's that's bad news.
Yeah, it's terrible. It's really, really bad. The fact that people will, like, go to these lengths just because they don't like somebody. Like,
yeah. My question, I guess, is what can be done to stop something like this? Like,
I don't know.
Aside from the moral aspect of obviously it shouldn't be done, but on the aspect of the specific police that are involved, how can they not react to this?
I think the only real solution to it is to get better at punishing the people who do the swatting.
Yeah.
It's like, because the police, they need to react to the situations. They need to take every call seriously.
Absolutely, because it could be a situation.
It could be
like
real.
That. Yeah.
So, like, you can't do something on the police side. You know, what's the victim going to do about it? Like, if you know it's going to happen to you, it's good to call the police.
And say, like, this is what's going
warn
on.
Them, and, you know, they might still get a full SWAT team the first time, but, you know, second or third time, they'd probably be suspicious.
Yeah, at least if you know what's going to happen, you can, like, lay down and be like, I'm not doing anything. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, but still, they generally, like, they'll smash in your door, like, no knock raids and stuff. And, you know, there's so little you can do on the victim side. And I think that's really what the perpetrators of the swatting like. And I think if, you know, we can get better tools to punish the people making the fake calls, because it's so easy to make the fake calls, really, like payphone or whatever. You know, throwaway phone that you get over the counter.
Yep. What I think that really brings up as an issue then is the, let's say if I can say this word, anonymity of the internet.
Anonymity, yes.
Yes, and that's, some people really fight for that. Some people don't. I think there's a good side and a bad side to it. Definitely we're seeing the bad side right now. So where do you stand on something like this then, I guess?
I don't know. It's weird because this shows both the good side and the bad side of anonymity. Because if you are anonymous on the internet, this won't happen to you.
Yep.
But the power of being anonymous on the internet means you can
do this to someone else.
Yeah.
Yeah, so it's... Yeah.
Yeah, it's such, like, a tough situation. The biggest thing is just, like... Why do you do this to people? Like, there's got to be something at least kind of mentally wrong, like, with you to, like, not understand or not empathize with the person you're doing this to.
Well, I think it's part of the emotional detachment because you're however many kilometers away in your house. You know what I mean? Like, you don't think of that as a real person.
Yeah.
Like, you see these people comment with, like, I'm going to kill your baby and whatever. These ridiculous comments that if you met these people in real life, they would never. 99% of them would never do anything like that. They're just big talk on the internet, the keyboard warrior kind of type.
Yeah.
So, I think they feel like they have some power over that particular area because no one can hurt them.
Yeah. Keemstar in particular being a
Yeah.
big asshole. He's been a big asshole on the internet for a long time.
The dude's like in his 30s too. Like, come on, grow up.
Yeah,
I don't. Yeah. Anyway.
acts like a teenager.
Yeah, and have you seen his whole like meltdown that he's been going through? He's like, okay, I quit YouTube. No, I don't quit YouTube. Okay, now I'm gonna quit YouTube. No, I'm not done. Okay, the people want me back. No one wanted him back. So
I guess he's banned from YouTube.
yeah, he's banned now.
Yeah. No, he's previously been banned from YouTube.
He had been.
And he has this other channel that he runs.
Drama alert.
Yes.
Yeah.
And he runs that, and everything points to it being his. He's called it his own channel.
Yeah.
But because it's apparently just a channel he does hosting for,
Oh.
that's what he tells YouTube anyways. YouTube's like, well, we can't ban him
Right.
because it's not his channel.
Wow.
Come on, YouTube. Come on.
That's some sketchy business.
Yeah.
I mean, how do you get banned from YouTube if a channel like Leafy is here can exist? Like, I don't know, man.
Even Leafy hates Keemstar.
Oh, I know. Leafy hates Keemstar. So like,
An
yeah.
asshole hates an asshole. That's how you know when you're a really big asshole.
yeah, when the assholes start to turn on you,
Yeah.
it's not good at all. Cool. Well, stemming from that in a totally different direction,
Mhm.
what I want to talk about right now is, you know how I brought up Dragon's Dogma, and
Yeah.
it's known as like a similar to Dark Souls game, but I actually saw that it came out in like 2012, so it really
Couldn't have taken that much.
couldn't have taken that much from it. But there's certainly a lot of games that are called Souls-like and things like that.
Yeah.
So what I'm asking you about is it good when there's a lot of particular one type of a game? It seems like there's a lot of Souls type games coming out right now because it's popular. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like, just like there was a lot of shooters coming out when it was popular. Is that good for the genre, or will it help refine that particular type of genre, or will people just get sick of it? I mean, obviously they're going to get sick of it eventually. Nothing is immune to that.
Yeah.
But what do you think about this?
I think it's probably a good thing, and it definitely sucks that it tends to lead to a lot of cheap games made in that genre, just made cheap and quick, people trying to cash in.
Yeah.
But almost every time you do see another company come in and like really come with something
Who runs
successful.
with it? Yeah.
And you see that in the life of the console FPS, because that's like one of the most recent big ones.
Right.
You see, Halo just owned that, and there was a bunch of games
Yeah.
doing really similar things, and there was other shooters around, and then Modern Warfare came in.
And then Call of Duty totally took it away from them
Yeah,
and
it
changed
was
things
huge.
up.
Yeah,
Yeah, and I really don't think there's been another change up like that in the FPS world.
yeah. I think because
I wouldn't
Modern
say
Warfare
Destiny
ran
is,
away
like-
with it so far,
Yeah.
I think the whole FPS thing like kind of outlived. It should have just been like Halo and Modern Warfare. Those were the big console FPSs.
Yeah.
And that probably should have just died off, but it's lived for so much longer.
It just, Modern Warfare kind of had a winning formula to it.
Yeah.
And it just hooked people in. And, I mean, people are still hooked however many years later.
Yeah.
Like, so,
But yeah, like,
yeah, that game definitely changed
yeah.
things.
There's definitely more examples too, like way further back, like 2D platformers.
Yep.
Sure, Mario's freaking fantastic, but if
Then you
that
got your
genre
Sonics,
didn't get
then you
super
got your this,
populated,
yep.
then would we have Sonic?
Yeah.
So many other platformer games too.
Yeah, absolutely.
But yeah, like that's what I like about genres really running away is that sometimes things that would otherwise be risky to make, because the genre isn't popular, people do make them.
Right, because someone popularizes it.
Yeah.
Interesting. Yeah, I imagine in the coming years we're gonna see more wacky kind of sports games, because Rocket League was such a success.
Yeah.
Where it's kind of a wacky sports game. I mean, it's acrobatic rocket power battle cars.
Yeah.
Not a good title, by the way.
No.
Rocket League, much better. Yeah. So okay, what do you have moving on from that?
Moving on from that. More drama.
You're the drama guy today.
I am the drama guy
Captain
today.
Drama.
I don't know. I got hooked into it. Yeah. So, a little bit about betting.
A little bit. I know about the bettings.
Do you know a little bit about Counter-Strike?
Yeah. Where you going
Yeah.
with this, Kev?
Apparently, those two things get mixed
Yeah.
and get even way worse from there, which
Mm.
is surprising.
Okay, so explain it for the people.
So, in Counter-Strike, Global Offensive, you get these crates kind of randomly, and you can pay money to buy these keys, which will open up the crates. Each of these keys are pretty cheap, $2.50 or something like that. And the crates contain a random aesthetic item for Counter-Strike Go, and I think it can be items for a couple other games. I think Dota 2 is in there.
Okay.
It's like, yeah, the Valve multiplayer games, basically. Anyway, so because there's a random chance with these crates, and the keys have a value, that means all the items within the crates have a value, and some of them get up to hundreds of dollars.
Yeah.
Because they're rare items. And these items can also be traded between players. So what has ended up happening is each of these items has these values, and people are using the values of those items to gamble with the items.
Yeah.
So yeah, they'll stack up the values. They'll stack like a whole bunch of their own items into a pot, and then flip a coin against another player, and whoever gets the coin flip
Winner takes all.
wins
Yeah.
all of it. Yeah. So it's very, very simple betting. But yeah, that's kind of happening. A little bit sketchy on its own because it lets kids participate.
Yeah, which is a no-no. A big no-no.
Yeah, it is a big no in gambling. It's even more sketchy is that there's two big YouTubers who basically their entire YouTube channel is showing them playing on these gambling sites.
But surely they could have no affiliation with the particular sites.
Yeah, they own the site that they show
Yeah.
off. And
Yeah.
pretend it like they didn't, and then when they got caught, they tried to update all their descriptions, but it's kind of hard to update something in a video where you say in the video, "Oh, hey, I just found out about the new site.
I found out
And
about this site.
They
that I
offered
made."
me some stuff to show it to you, so here, guys, I want to show you the site."
Yeah.
And yeah, just pretending like stumble across a site when if you look at the business application for the incorporation.
And then one of my questions
Their
that comes
names
from
are on
that, so either they're faking it, like they're not actually winning that money and they're just
Yeah.
doing some editing with it, or they're rigging the matches, which is another issue entirely.
Yeah.
So
So yeah,
if they're getting consistent big wins like that.
yeah, it's a little bit misleading if they're just faking the results, like having a fake other person on
Yeah.
the other side. If they're just faking those results, then yeah, it's a little bit sketchy. But yeah, if they're actually playing against other real people and rigging the results so that they're taking all this stuff from
Because I mean
people,
they own the site, so
Yeah.
like they can do that.
yeah, it's kind of funny. Yeah.
Oh, it's
The-
bad.
The
Very
other
bad.
the other day, one of these YouTube guys were streaming, and they had their Steam login page logged in and stuff. It was logged on to one of the bot accounts for the site, and the bot accounts basically facilitate the trades between the players.
Right.
So he would have had access to stop a trade mid-transaction.
Wow.
Yeah.
Interesting.
Very
So
sketchy.
now, who's to blame for this primarily, aside from the site? 'Cause I see people are trying to
think-
throw Valve into there.
Yeah, I think it's primarily the owners of the site.
Yeah.
But yeah, Valve's definitely involved in some hand. I think part of it is probably because they're selling items in such a random way and allowing trading of that.
Yeah. The
Doing
trading is where it seems like the
Yeah.
real issue's coming in.
Doing those two things together is often avoided due to legality concerns,
Yeah.
especially in a number of countries which just straight up don't allow that.
Yeah.
Like I work in mobile games, and most mobile games don't even do that.
Yeah.
And they're known for being sketchy with how they get people to spend money. But like, it's sketchy from Valve. I'm surprised they're doing it, and I would not be surprised if their whole system around it changes in the future.
Yeah, I mean, with all this drama coming out about it, like you heard about it from an HCHC video. There's probably been other
Yeah,
videos
it's been on
it
Reddit
too.
and
Yeah,
stuff
exactly.
too, yeah.
It's definitely been floating around. So seems like there's going to be something that'll change from that. But with that particular issue in mind, it's taking me to my next topic, which is something that seems very relevant lately and absolutely relates to that. People can't stay mad at something for more than like 2 days now. And by that I mean, you'll see this all the time of someone will make a Facebook post or someone will sign a petition or something like that for a particular issue, like with the tragedy that happened down in with Orlando.
Orlando, yeah.
Right? So that big shooting. So, you see people going on Facebook and they're like, oh, I'm going to stop this. I'm going to make a post. Or I'm going to yell at someone for a week. Real change doesn't happen for just a week or for making a Facebook post.
Yeah.
That doesn't matter. I'm sorry, it doesn't matter at all. It requires a lot of work. It requires a lot of time. Things don't move quickly in the real world. I'm sorry. It's the way it is. There has to be meetings scheduled. There has to be hearings. There has to be things like this, especially for something as big as gun control in the States.
Yeah.
That's not going to be solved with a Facebook post. And I think that's an issue these days. What are you thinking about that?
Yeah,
It's people that think they're causing change when they're not doing anything at all. And they're all proud of themselves from, well, my Facebook post got viewed by 10,000 people. That's awesome. Good for you. You didn't make a change at all.
Yeah.
Like,
I mean, I do think there is some small little bit of benefit of those Facebook posts.
people hear about it.
People hear about it, and what I think is more important is, the kind of hive mind opinion, which can be both beneficial and detrimental. But, if they see their friends on Facebook, like, have certain opinions about certain things and, like, say, oh, shooting people because they're gay is bad, then, that mentality will get shared more that way. And people tend to like to grab other people's opinions if they don't have their own.
Absolutely. But I guess my main issue comes from the fact that that's going to be the back of everyone's mind a week. You know what I'm saying? Because there's going to be a gorilla that takes a kid and gets shot. You know what I mean? Like, it can be anything like that. So we're definitely falling into that problem. And someone who I think is helping with that a little bit is John Green. If you know about him, he's from the Vlogbrothers. He set out a challenge to his community to actually write a physical letter to a member of parliament or a member in office from their specific area about some particular issue. And he got a lot of traction there because that's something that will actually get a little bit of traction going. Not just an email, but a physical letter that you have to mail that actually gets sent there and that they're actually going to read. Those make a big difference.
Yeah, they do.
A lot more than they're not going to read about a Facebook post in a court. You know what I mean? Like, it's not, I don't know. It's just kind of throwaway.
It's a lot more personal.
Yeah, absolutely.
Writing a letter to
a specific person.
Yeah.
You're writing that person's name down, whoever they be.
Yeah.
Like, yeah, it's more personal, and it's hopefully going to at least get something done. I don't know. Grinds my gears, Kev.
It does. It's pretty bad. I think a lot of it has to do with how just media is handled.
Yeah.
In general, in our current futuristic society that we live in now. You can find out about everything so quickly, and you can hear about so much.
Yeah.
And it's very easily for some scandal to override a scandal that happened a couple days ago.
Yeah. And the particular thing that set me off on this was actually I was just kind of skimming through Facebook, and there's a local area from a community I used to live in that I guess the ball field isn't quite kept up to perfect standards. Like, it's seeded right now, but the grass isn't great. It's all patchy. The ball's kind of flying up quite a bit, which not ideal in baseball. Kids are getting bopped in the face because it's jumping, right?
Yeah.
So this one dad just kind of goes on this rant on Facebook, and everyone's like, oh, you go get him, Jim. You go do this. And then one of the actual representatives from that particular area is like, absolutely. Thank you for hopping on board. And he's like, well, I got a bone to pick with you. She's like, fantastic. I really like your enthusiasm. We've been trying to push this for the past 3 years, but the government isn't putting in money, and we're not allowed to buy that specific property from them because the school board won't let us buy it, and they won't let us do anything to that particular property because technically it's theirs, and they're not willing to give it up. So I've been trying to push this fight for the past 3 years. Come on board. And he's like, well, you should just fix it. Well, that's not really going to get anything done. Obviously, this person's been trying that for three or more years.
Yeah.
Now, but everyone's giving this person praise for, giving them hell on Facebook, The person who complained is getting nothing done. They're not willing to get anything done. And I'm sure everyone's busy, everyone's things like that. But, if you care enough about something to freak out about it online, then if you want to actually make a change other than just be a hypocrite, you have to be willing to put in the work. And to be totally honest, I follow a lot less of this advice than I really should.
Yeah. It's easy to get angry about something.
It is.
And just type it out and, let it go.
Yeah.
And it's very, very difficult to actually get involved with making something better.
Yeah.
It's very
it takes,
time-consuming.
It takes a lot of time. You have to join committees. You have to go to meetings. You have to, yeah. Absolutely. So it's, I don't know. That's my rant for the day, Kev. It got me fired up.
It's fair.
So what else got you fired up now?
What else has me fired up? I don't know. Not too much else. I feel like it's been like kind of a quiet week outside of that drama.
Yeah.
Like,
nothing too crazy.
Yeah, I think it's a little bit of a post E3 depression.
Yeah, it's like the week after Christmas, right?
Yeah.
It's like, okay, what now? What do we do?
Yeah,
we got all our gifts. Yeah.
Nothing huge on the news.
Yeah.
Kind of, it's like, okay. It is what it is.
What are you excited for coming out this year?
Coming out this year? Didn't we talk about this last name? EhCast?
Oh, we didn't? Oh, we did?
I'm pretty sure
okay.
we did.
Never mind then. Never mind. So I'm going to move into then my topic.
Yeah.
So you were talking about that game, Stardew Valley.
Yes, yeah.
And I think it's an interesting story because if you don't know this, it was made by one dude. Literally one dude. It took him like 5 years or something, didn't it? It was like
5 years working like 60 hours a week or something like that.
Yeah,
like,
dude was working hard, and obviously people were like, "Oh, it's an overnight success." It wasn't an overnight success.
Terrible
obviously.
word.
Yeah, exactly. Oh, I hate it when people say that. It's never an overnight success.
Yeah.
But anyway, so this guy was making this game, but what's interesting is that people, or it certainly seemed like it to me, people wanted this kind of a game for a very long time, and it's been a while since the Harvest Moon game came out. But it's also, it never really seems like those games come out on anything but a Nintendo platform. Like at least even something copying that in those type of games, it never really.
So yeah, I'll give a little bit
Maybe
of
The
background
Sims?
story about Harvest Moon.
Yeah.
So it was going fine for a while. And then what happened is the developer had a bit of a fallout with the publisher.
Natsume or something?
Yeah, Natsume being the publisher.
Yeah.
I forget the developer's name. Something Interactive.
It's the
Inc. or
dog
something
and
like
the
that.
yeah. Anyway.
Anyways, Marvelous Interactive Inc. Anyways, yeah, they had a bit of falling out, and a lot of the developers at the development company actually left.
Oh.
So what ended up happening is the developer lost the rights to Harvest Moon. The developers who left made their own company and started a series called Story of Seasons.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, so far there's only been one game on the 3DS.
Yeah.
It's actually quite good. A lot of people like it.
Yeah.
And the Harvest Moon name went to some other company who made a Harvest Moon game that was really bad.
Right.
And there's another one coming out soon that looks like way, way, way worse.
Awesome.
Like
awesome.
14-year-old trying to make a Harvest Moon game.
But like,
bad.
why aren't these games also coming to like PS4, Xbox One, PC? Like, why are they only coming to Nintendo platforms?
It's
interesting.
Yeah.
So now it seems like people have wanted that, and obviously developers weren't willing to do that. Maybe they weren't willing to take the risk or something like that. But there's one dude who was listening, and it's paid massively for him. The game sold over 1 million copies.
Yeah, it's just on PC, and it is coming to other platforms.
Yeah.
Soonish, I think.
Oh, absolutely. But like, he's got a massive success on his hands, and it's one guy. That's really interesting. So one guy can bring that massive experience, and it's probably going to be like what we started off the show with, where people are going to be like, "Oh crap, these games, this genre is hot right now. We're probably in the next like 3 years or so going to see more of this type of game come out."
Yeah.
Because people will be like, "Oh, okay, it's good to go." So my question or my point that I want to bring up is the fact that it seems like indies are starting to have a lot of power because they can take risks like that. They don't have a publisher breathing down their neck being like, "Oh, this isn't hot right now. We can't do this."
Yeah.
So they really can take the creative freedoms. And do you think that's going to be beneficial moving forward? Because I certainly think it is.
Yeah, definitely. Because I think one of the biggest problem with publishers and how they invest their money is they want to invest their money in something that's a surefire.
They want to get their money
maker.
back. They want to make money. They're in a business, and their business is to make money.
Yeah. So even if there's tons of fan outcry to say, "Hey, I want a new Harvest Moon type
Mirror's
game,"
Edge,
or Mirror's Edge, or and another big one is actually 3D platformers.
Yeah.
You know, people crying out for that. They're gonna look at the history. And they're gonna say, there aren't games like this selling well.
Yeah.
So we're not gonna give you money because you can't prove that it will make money.
Yeah.
And indie developers aren't actually tied to that. They don't have publishers giving them money.
No.
They will listen to the fans and they'll make what the fans want.
And they make the game they want.
Yeah.
Ultimately. Which, if you have someone who wants to make... Because it feels like in situations, you have developers who are working on a game that they don't want to be working on. Absolutely. And they have ridiculous deadlines and things like that. But you have someone who's a fan of the genre, who's making games for people who like that genre.
Yeah.
They're
going to get a better product.
Absolutely. Yeah. It's someone who understands that type of game and likes that type of game.
Yeah, made with love.
Absolutely, absolutely. I mean, so yeah, I certainly think we can see some big progress from there. But like, then you have things like the Kickstarter project for Yooka-Laylee.
Yeah.
Where that's kind of a different beast, right? I mean, those guys weren't from obscurity; they were all dudes from Rare.
Yeah.
Like,
so these, I don't know. I think it's another good side of Kickstarter. Somebody from the industry can leave the industry and go on their own and get backed by Kickstarter.
Yes, that's a good thing, but Mighty Number 9 sucks.
Yes. There's people who said it probably won't be as good as you think it will. As soon as that Kickstarter went up.
Absolutely, with the company concept, but I guess the thing that surprised me is Indie Creates is a great studio. They make some really fantastic games.
Yeah.
I mean, they made Mega Man 9 and 10, and as Colin M. always says, you can set someone down, if they hadn't played those older games, you can set them down with the old Mega Man games and be like, so which one came out, like, in the past 5 years? I guarantee that people couldn't tell.
Yeah.
Like, it's that good. So, I mean, Indie Creates is a great studio, so I'm surprised the game ended up as bad as it did. And as of right now, it seems like Inafune is taking a lot of the blame for something like that.
Yeah.
But we're getting people who do have that reputation with, a perfect example right now. It looks like Sony just gave Kojima a blank check.
Yeah.
Make a game. He's got Norman Reedus holding an invisible baby that's got ink all... It's weird. But, like, I don't know. So that it's interesting.
Yeah, we'll see what comes out of, like, those type of setups. Like, right now we have very, very few examples of what happens if you give developers money to make a fan game.
Well, this is a new way to go about things.
Yeah.
Absolutely. I mean, it seems like Tim Schafer and company really kicked it off with Broken Age.
Yeah.
When people were like, we want adventure games, and he's like, okay. Luckily, it coincided with the whole Telltale thing of adventure games taking off, because obviously they didn't copy him, because it was really going at the same time, and adventure games are definitely a popular genre right now. I did cut you off, though. Continue. Sorry.
Yeah, we don't have many examples, so it's really hard to say how it's going to work as a whole. I think Mighty Number 9 in particular is like promised too much. Kind of their Kickstarter incentives kind of stamped on the feet of the base game.
Yeah.
So I kind of hurt it in one way. Yooka-Laylee, like, they were pretty smart. They're keeping it very minimal for their like first shippable product.
Well, I
They're
mean,
saying we'll do stuff later.
Minimal, but at the same time, they're releasing on multiple platforms, which is a lot of work.
Yeah, there's a lot of work there, but they do still need money. You need money after Kickstarter too. I think that's what people forget. Is like, oh, they had this giant Kickstarter project. That doesn't mean they have $4 million from here to the end of time.
Absolutely not. And also, Kickstarter takes a decent portion of that money.
Yeah.
So, I mean, it's interesting. But I guess what Inafune was saying with the specific development was like 60% of the time of the first bit was working on actually making the game. The other 40% was just porting it because they were putting it on everything. So, like, for Yooka-Laylee to come out with what I believe is a small team and be like, okay, yeah, we're going to put it on everything, that's porting to everything is a lot of work.
Yeah.
Why wouldn't you just do that in post?
So,
I mean, I guess you assume your stretch goals will be able to hit it, but...
Yeah. I feel like Yooka-Laylee is probably in a better position than Mighty Number 9, mostly due to the contacts that the Rare people have and the experience they have.
It's not just one man.
Yeah.
It's a whole team.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And also, newer consoles are easier to port to, in general. Yep. And they're doing the whole thing in a kind of more sensible way. Like, Mighty Number 9 was made in Unreal Engine 3.
Yeah.
It
It was?
Yeah, they started making it like a year before Unreal Engine 4 came out.
Oh,
and
no.
Unreal Engine 4 can just export right to all the different platforms they want it on, pretty much. So, like, there's that kind of stuff, and I feel like the experience from the Rare guys with ukulele is probably going to, help them make those smarter decisions early on.
Absolutely. Well, I mean, we have another case like that is absolutely a shining success, and it's a shame you haven't played this type of game because this is a game you'd really like. Shovel Knight. So these guys, they worked on the DuckTales remaster.
Yeah.
And Yacht Club Games, they're fantastic, and they put up this Kickstarter. Look at the caterpillar. Anyway, so they put up this Kickstarter, and the game is fantastic, but it only came out on I think it was PC and Nintendo consoles initially, and then they got it to everything else because they're such a small team. They definitely took their time with something like that, and it paid off massive. The game is absolutely fantastic. I highly recommend you play it, but it certainly seems like if you have something like that where it's a studio that knows how to make games like that, and they're trying to then make their own game that no publisher will really go behind.
Yeah. I think that's a really good example of somebody or a company recognizing the costs to make a game and trying to make sure that they put most of the resources into making the game good instead of the other more costly things. So they focused on single platform in a genre that they already had an engine for.
Yeah,
because they did DuckTales Remastered, and it's very, very similar kind of mechanics and platforming and stuff.
Yeah, exactly. But I think the reason why DuckTales Remastered wasn't well received is because they were trying to stick true to the source material, but those games don't age well. I mean, they're...
Yeah.
Why am I here killing these things? I don't know. Points? That's kind of how the way story worked for the games like that. And something that's really interesting about that game, just because now you got me talking about Yacht Club, and I can talk about Yacht Club for days. But what they did with that I think was really creative, that Colin M explained, was they looked around and they knew that Colin liked games like this. They're like, the guy loves Mega Man games. He's going to get behind our games. So they kind of badgered him a little bit.
Yeah.
And then he became a massive evangelist for this game. And he had a really big following behind him. He was in games media. So, I think Colin M is really a big pusher for a game like that, which really didn't cost them much for marketing. So it's a smart way of marketing a game. It's not taking out billboards that cost millions of dollars. You know what I mean?
It's
always way more traction.
If you look at kind of forums that indie developers write on and stuff, like r/GameDev is a good example.
Yeah.
The thing that people fret over the most is marketing because it's so difficult.
It seems terrifying. I mean, I'm on such a small scale right now, but trying to be the people just play my game.
Yeah.
It's tough. It's really tough.
How do you do that to a wide audience as well?
Absolutely. Yeah. So,
Skato.
And I mean, those people have a lot more stakes on the line. Mine, as far as working time goes, I probably spent a full working week making this game. They spend years in a very big team. Very big. By that I mean 15 people.
Yeah.
That's a lot of money that could go down to the tubes because people don't know about it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
People. Yeah, it costs a lot to employ people. I think that's another thing that people forget with the Kickstarter things.
Yeah.
It costs a lot of money to employ people.
And it costs more than you pay the people. And a lot of people don't realize that is the fact that
usually twice a person's salary is how much it costs a company.
Yeah, exactly. Which may surprise some of you out there. It's really interesting just because of taxes.
Yeah, basically.
Primarily taxes and
some insurance
health insurance
and
EI and things like that. There's people are expensive.
Yeah.
Why can't you just buy them? That's not good.
We've been through that already.
Oh no.
Yeah, I think we've kind of made a good job of showing why games are really hard to make, and the follies of making it as a company.
Yeah.
But there are so many benefits, and I think that's one of the reasons Stardew Valley is so impressive. It's because it was just one guy. He went through all the work to make that on his own.
Yeah, and he probably saved himself a lot of money.
Yeah,
I don't know if he saved himself much time, but saved himself a lot of money.
He definitely didn't save himself time.
No.
But yeah.
How could he afford to work on that 60 hours a week though?
I assume he had savings.
He must have.
Yeah.
Because that's a Jonathan Blow situation who was an OG for really oh my gosh, platform console. There we go. Console indie games.
Yeah.
He was a total OG for it, and he must have had a lot of money to make Braid, right? He smart investments or something
well off,
like that.
yeah.
Absolutely, and I think he's you've talked many times about how he's doing a lot of good things for the industry. What's he doing specifically for the?
So he's working on a
Developers.
programming language called Jai, I believe is how it's pronounced.
Okay.
JAI. And what it is it's pretty close to C++, which is probably something you've heard before.
Yeah.
One of really the only programming language that most
Is
big
it similar
games
to
are
C
written in.
Sharp? No.
It's a little bit similar in
Would I be
syntax,
able to
but-
know what I'm doing or no? Not even. Oh, awesome.
Nah, it's got some quirks that you need to learn it a bit before you can really get started in it.
Okay.
And what Jonathan Blow is doing isn't about making that easier, actually, for new people. It's about making it easier for the professional people. Because C++ isn't made for making games, but yet it is the programming language that we use to make games. So what Jonathan Blow wants to do is make one that kind of works for games better.
Right.
Because one thing with games is they have very consistent structure. We care a lot about data and how that data moves, and that it moves quickly, as opposed to more securely or any of those other type of things.
Yeah, absolutely.
We want to get the graphics to the screen super quick.
Yeah.
So he's working very hard to make sure that the programming language supports that on its own. So what's a big deal there is that it's just going to save people so much time and headaches when they're developing the big games, and kind of make the engines behind the games, because that's what it's for. It's for the engines that are running behind the games. Make sure that they're more easily modifiable, updatable, fixable, everything, just so that we get better games in the long run.
So then, what's his end goal with this type of thing? Just to release it, or does he intend to license it of some sort, or?
Just release it.
Oh, really?
I don't think there's.
Can you license a language, or
you can't really license a programming language?
Yeah.
What tends to happen more often than not, and probably the best example is how this is done is through Microsoft. How C# originally started is they made the language and it was all public and everything.
Okay.
But C# is kind of like Java, where it needs another program to run it.
Right.
So they made that program Windows exclusive. And if you've ever heard of Mono is the non-Windows version of that same program.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. So that's how that worked out. And that's how people monetize programming languages, because it's really, really difficult to actually monetize it. People just won't use it. There's so many very good free languages.
Yeah.
People just won't switch over. Yeah.
Okay.
And the other thing is programming languages tend to be developed through a committee, as opposed to a singular person or company.
So then, with Jonathan Blow doing this, is he the only person to do this? Has no one else tried to make a language just for games?
I don't think so.
Why?
It's a giant undertaking. It really is. It's very, very difficult.
Does he have a team working on it, or is it just him?
It's just him so far. He said
what a nut. I mean
wants
that in the nicest way.
Yeah. He wants to get it to a good point that it just kind of stands on its own.
Right.
And then he can release it out there and get more people collaborating on it.
And push some things. And okay.
Yeah.
Huh.
But as it is, I think he's actually developing, a game in it right now.
Really?
Yeah.
Interesting.
So, yeah, it's honestly, it's a really good idea. I always prefer, if you're going to do something very fundamental and you want to make sure it works, use it for what it's meant for.
Yeah.
So if you want to make a programming language for making games, make a game in it, and that's where you'll find the flaws and the strengths and the weaknesses and all that stuff.
Yeah. Yeah, you wouldn't sell a car to someone you didn't drive.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Exactly.
That just doesn't make sense. Okay. Cool. So that's what's going on this week.
Yeah.
It's exciting.
Yeah.
I want to come up with an end tagline. It's going to be catch you later, eh?
Sure.
Awesome. 1, 2, 3. Catch you later, eh? Sounds weird when we say it together.
I know. It sounds more Canadian, though, I think.